Good morning, Chosen and Tashi. Am I audible?
Good morning, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yes, and you're audible.
Okay. So, what about others from 10? I'm going to start the class. Please inform them to join quickly. Okay. I'll be waiting
Ma'am.
for a few minutes. Okay, I think we can start. So today we'll be doing a new unit that is grouting. Okay. So did you hear the name grouting in previous classes? Little bit I have told you. Can anybody tell me what is grouting? What is grouting? Yes or no? At least respond if you can or not. The process of injecting some chemical. Yes, Lancy, very good. So I'm going to share the screen. Can you see the screen? Is the screen visible? Okay. So grouting and injection we are going to see. So let us see what is grouting. Grouting is a process of ground improvement attained by injecting fluid-like material into the subsurface soil or rock. The technology of grouting is not new, yet it is constantly developing with with innovation of new materials and construction techniques. The modern grouting was first started in the mining work for arresting seepage and strengthening in civil engineering works. Grouting is particularly valuable in foundation work before construction, example to control water problem, to infill voids, to control settlement, to increase soil bearing capacity, etc. During construction, that is to control groundwater flow, to stabilize loose sand against liquefaction, to provide adequate lateral support, etc. And after construction, to reduce machine foundation vibration, to eliminate new seepage, to apply in underpinning work, etc. So this is an introduction on grouting. So already in previous classes, I have told you about grouting. So it is the process where a fluid-like material is injected, or you can say is inserted with the help of with the process of injection into the subsurface soil or rock. Okay, and it is most suitable in foundation works, and this technique you can apply either before construction, during construction, as well as after construction. Okay, so before construction, what it does when we apply, like to control the water problem, like suppose you are doing excavation and through the pores the water is coming and you need to seal that part. So we can do grouting, like with the help of injection process we can insert some water soaking materials, or which will be fluid, which kind of nature will be fluid in nature. It will go inside, it will seal the voids, and it will control the water flowing problem. Okay, then we can seal the voids that are present. We can to seal those, we can use certain type of fluid, and those fluid can be injected inside the pores or inside the voids, and the voids are sealed. Okay, so these are the various purposes. Then during construction also we can use, and after construction also we can use. Okay, Now see, there are various applications of grouting. Grouting is adopted both for temporary and permanent work, and the following applications have been in use: sealing pockets and leaves of permeable or unstable soil or rock prior to excavation of a tunnel, heading and or alternatively grouting a stratum from ground level, sealing the base of structures like cofferdams and caissons founded on pervious ground. So I've told you, you can seal the voids that are present, and if we seal the voids are sealed, then what will happen? The chances of getting settled, the chances of being settlement will be reduced. Okay. Then fixing ground anchors for sheet pile wall, concrete pile wall, retaining wall, stabilizing rock cutting tunnels, etc. Repairing a ground underneath a formation or cracks and structural defects on the building masonry or pavement, and sunken slabs or dam proof pores. Then filling the voids between the lining and rock face in tunnel works. Then forming grout curtains in layers of permeable strata below a dam. So we can use grouting to form certain curtains, okay, curtain like things, to create a barrier between the permeable strata. Okay, so some fluid or some chemicals have the characteristic of forming curtain or some obstruction like structure, okay, like wall like formation, and it works as a curtain or barrier between the two strata or the two layer of the soil. Okay, generally this process is applied for dam construction. Then there are various other applications you can go through. See, sealing a gap between the surface of a concrete foundation and the base plate of a station. So if there is a gap between the foundation base and the concrete foundation, then those gaps can be sealed with the help of grouting process. Okay. Then all types of grouts are used, including cement and sand, cement, clay cement, slag cement, resin, gypsum cement, clays, asphalt, pulverized fuel ash, and a large number of colloidal and low viscosity chemicals. So these are the various things or various chemicals you can use as a grout. Cement can also be used in the form of slurry, and also we can mix, this one or two or more chemicals, and we can use it as grout. Okay. See, allowing the people to join the meeting in the middle of the class, that is in the middle of sharing the screen, is really, it is not much possible. Okay, I have to stop sharing, then again I have to allow, so this is not good. So either you wait, you will have to wait if you join late, or you can leave the class, did not join at all. Today I'm allowing, but it is not possible. I have to stop sharing and then I have to allow the people to enter. I also wait for more than 5 minutes. 10 minutes I wait for you people to join. Either you join on time or you wait in the lobby for me to, when I stop sharing, then only I can allow. If I have to allow, I have to stop sharing the screen. This creates a problem. And if you don't have the patience of waiting, you can leave the class. You can leave, no problem. This thing again and again I'm saying, every day I have to say that either you keep waiting on the lobby or you can leave if you don't have the patience. Don't just keep on texting me in the WhatsApp and all types of grouts are used including cement. Okay, this thing I have told you. So these are the various chemicals or fluid. We need to make it in the fluid form and then we can use it as grout. If we are using cement, we need to mix water or some other chemicals also, we can mix with it and then we can use it as grout. Okay, and not only this, there are various other chemicals also we can use as grout material, but we should see that the viscosity of the chemical should not be too high or too low. Okay, the viscosity should be maintained. Then in grouting, different types of grouts are used, different ground conditions have to be satisfied and different functions have to be served. No generalization about grouting equipment and methods have been made. So yet now there is not much development in the field of grouting, but this is the best technique when we need to seal some gaps or the voids, or you need to control the flow of water. Suppose water is flowing through some openings or the some pores, then for sealing those things we can use the process of grouting. Okay, now we move to aspect of grouting. The principle of grouting is to introduce a substance into rock fissure or into a soil by pumping fluid called a grout down a small diameter tube in the required location. It is essential that a particular grout should penetrate satisfactorily into the permeable materials or rock fissures and seal all voids. Before implementing any grouting technique in the field, the basic function it is intended to do should be realized. Okay, so depending on the type of soil and what type of function it has to perform, we will select the type of grout. So what is grout? The materials that we are going to use or the fluid or the chemical, whatever you want to say. Generally, whatever the chemical or whatever thing you are using, it should be in the fluid form. So the fluid that is used for injecting, for inserting inside the soil, that fluid is called as grout. Okay, and this fluid is injected with the help of a grout pipe. It is a small diameter pipe. The diameter is very small, and this pipe is inserted inside the ground up to the required depth or where you need to put the grout. So up to that much depth the pipe is inserted, and with the help of some injection it is inserted through that pipe. Then it flows through the pipe and it reaches to the point where the portion where you want to do the grouting. Okay, and whatever fluid we use, mixing of whatever chemicals, either soil, cement or whatever, we must see that the viscosity is neither too low nor too high. What will happen if the viscosity is too low? The fluid will will flow very easily. Okay, and okay, so the viscosity should be maintained. If the viscosity is too low, the fluid will flow very fast, and as a result some of the voids may not be filled with the grout material. Okay, and if the viscosity is too high, then the what will happen, the fluid will not move at all through the pipe. Okay, So the viscosity should be maintained. It should not be too high or too low. Okay, generally little bit high is preferred. Okay, the viscosity little bit higher it is preferred, but not too high that it doesn't move at all. And what is viscosity, all of you know, it is very clear to you. So there are three basic functions involved in soil or rock grouting. So let us see what are those three functions. First one is permeation or penetration. The figure A, you see in figure A, the permeation grouting is shown. It is also called as penetration grouting. In this situation, the grout flows freely with minimal effect into the soil voids or rock seams. So here the grout is inserted with the help of this pipe. You see grout pipe is shown, and the arrow mark, with the help of the arrow mark the grout is shown through where it is inserted through the pipe at the topmost part. So the grout moves through this grout pipe and it reaches the end point where it is released. So in this portion, in this type of grouting, the grout it comes out through the pipe and then it flows independently, you can say, or flows freely to fill up the voids of the surrounding soil. Okay, whatever soil or rock is there, wherever you have done the grouting, the grout moves freely to fill up the voids. In below you can see the arrow marks are shown. These arrow marks are the movement of grout. Okay, and these dots are shown. These are the soil particles that are present. So this arrow mark, it is showing the movement of the grout. So this grout, it moves freely and it fills the voids surrounding the soil. Then up to certain area this grout will cover, then after that the pipe is taken out, and then at certain distance from that the pipe is again inserted and the process is repeated. So in this way all the voids get sealed. The next is compaction or controlled displacement. In this case, the grout remains more or less intact as a mass and exerts pressure on the soil or rock. So here the grout does not move freely. Okay, in compaction grouting, the grout does not move freely in case it forms an intact or compacted mass like thing. Okay, see in the figure B, compaction grouting. Here the grout is inserted through the pipe, and then when the grout leaves the pipe, it forms a mass like thing, a contact or intact mass. Okay, and due to the pressure, this mass that is created at the end of the pipe, it provides pressure to the surrounding soil. Okay, and because of this pressure given by this intact mass, the void surrounding this mass, it gets diminished or removed at all. Okay, then number 3 is hydraulic fracturing or uncontrolled displacement. In this condition, the grout rapidly penetrates into fractured zone, which is created when the grout pressure is greater than the tensile strength of the soil or rock being grouted. So here in the third figure, that is figure C, we can see hydrofracturing or uncontrolled displacement. Here the grout is inserted and then it moves through the fractures, big, if there are some big fractures, big cracks and all, it moves through those fractures and it fills up the spaces. Okay, Next we see groutability. What it is, in order to obtain a satisfactory performance of a grout, its grain size distribution should be known, because it shall show the relationship between the suspended particles and the void dimension. So the grain size of the grout material is of utmost importance, we should take care of. Okay, suppose the voids of the soil, is smaller, and the grain size of the grout material is larger. Okay, if the grain size is larger of the grout material, then the voids that we are going to seal, what will happen, there will be blockage. The grout will not be able to move through the voids, isn't it? So we should see the dimension. The void dimension should be at least little bit larger than the grain size of the grout, so that the grout can easily move through the voids and seal the voids. Okay, so that is what it is told here. You go through in details, it will be much clearer. And some preliminary work is needed on the location before the actual injection of grout is taken up. Initial washing of the surface openings is needed to make them clean and clay free, such that grout may adhere. In fractured rock, prior injection of dilute silicate can make subsequent grout penetration easier. So some preliminary works in the site is required, like you need to clean the site where the grouting or the injection operation will be performed. We should remove the clay so that it does not get mixed up with the grout material and create some kind of problems like blockage and all. Okay, that is what it is said. So go through this, it will be clearer. And the grouting pressure, it is maintained to about 20 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, it's written here everything. If you don't understand, you can ask, because it is just the wastage of time. If I go through line by line, it will be clearer. Just the basic thing I have told you. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Next, we move to grouting material. So basically, two classification is done. Okay, for grouting material. Grouting material means the grout, the material or the fluid we are going to use to inject to inject through the grout pipes. Okay, the material we are going to use. So it is basically classified under two categories, that is suspension grout and solution grout. Okay, so what is suspension grout? Let us see. These are multi-phase systems capable of forming subsystems after being subjected to natural sieving process, with chemical properties which must be carefully scrutinized so as to ensure that they do not they do not miliate against controlled properties of setting and strength. Water in association with cement, lime, soil, etc. constitutes suspension emulsion. With water in a two-phase system, which is also included under suspension. Suspension grout are also referred to as particulate grout. Okay, this is about suspension grout. Like with the grain size is little bit more. Like if we use cement, soil, lime, these things are in the powdered form. Okay, then we can mix with some chemicals, or also we can mix with water. Cement, we know it has the drying property, it gets dried up and it can feel the void. Same for lime also. So this thing we can mix with either water or some other liquid like chemicals, and then we can use uh, as grout. So these are classified under suspension grouts. And what are solution grouts? These are intimate one phase system retaining an originally designed chemical balance until completion of the relevant reactions. Solution in which the solute is present in the colloidal state are known as colloidal solutions. Chemical grout fall into this category. I think it is clear. In case of suspension grout, we have to mix the chemical, we have to mix two items, we can say, okay, two or three items or whatever you want, but minimum is two item. Like if we use cement, it is in the powdered form, then we need to add some liquid thing, either water or some other chemicals are also used nowadays, but generally water is used. Then that is classified under suspension grouting. And solution grout, that is already in the liquid form, we need not mix anything. Okay, like if we use some chemicals like sodium silicate and not sodium silicate, the liquid form, then the chemical itself we can mix, and that is called as solution grout. Okay, is it clear up to this much to all? The functions of grouting and all, is it clear to all? Okay. So let us now see details about suspension grout. So when grouts, particularly suspension, are injected into the soil formation, the relationship between the grout particle size and the soil void size should be considered. So I have told you that the void dimension and the grout particle size, it matters. Okay. So for this we need to see the dimensions are grout, and depending on these dimensions, it is dimension of the voids and dimension of the particle size, or the particle size of the grout, our relationship has been developed, and it is called as groutability ratio. Okay, it is denoted by capital G, capital R. Okay, GR, it is called as groutability ratio, and it is defined as D15 formation by D85 grout. D15 means, all of you know, particle size at which 15% of the soil is finer, and D85 is the 85% of the soil is finer. Okay, so we should where how to decide that which grout you can use for what dimension voids will completely depend on this groutability ratio. D15 of formation. Formation means the voids that we are going to seal. Okay, that void should be of size D15, and that voids only D15 will consider. So D15 by D85 means of the grout. The material that we are going to use is D85. Okay, then we take the ratio D15 by D85. It should be more than 20. So if it is more than, if the ratio is more than 20, then only we can apply that grout for that particular voids. Okay. This part I will continue in the next class, because if I start now it will not end, and from half it will be a problem to me. So is it clear up to this much to all of you? Groutability ratio clear to all? Okay, fine. I will share this PDF with you in the WhatsApp. can go through. If you have any doubt later on also you can ask me. Okay, so let's end here for today. Thank you everyone.